Is it about protecting the black man, or is it about protecting the black vote? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this ridiculous article that I've stumbled across on the internets from The Root. Now, this is a so-called Afrocentric website, although I went to the editor-in-chief's Instagram page, a black woman, and she is with the white man. Nothing against that. I'm just putting it out there so you understand what's going on. This website purports themselves to be pro-black, blackity-black, woke, super liberal, leftist, all that kind of stuff. And they publish an article talking about the MAGA, whatever that may be, trying to steal the black male vote. Now, I don't know what the MAGA is, but is it about some organization, some invisible group of white men trying to take the black male vote? Or is it some black males who say, you know what? We don't like what's going on here. We don't like what's going on with the Democratic Party. We don't like what's going on with Joe Biden. He's disrespectful. If you don't vote for me, then you ain't really black. Maybe let's think about doing something else. Maybe that's what's going on, rather than it being some kind of outside force that's making us do this. Now, am I going to sit here and say that it's going to be, you're going to go from 20% black males voting for Trump to 40 or 50? I mean, that's a little much. But there is a shift happening, even if it's very small. It's a shift happening. Now, before I go any further into my opinion about it, let's go ahead and get into this clip, this article from The Root. You see the headline, why the MAGAs, and when I say the MAGAs, I was not making it up. Why the MAGAs' effort to steal the black male vote has surged, but must be stopped. And the subhead says, Democratic strategists, the MAGA leaders are trying to divide black people. And can we please get editors that don't eat Cheetos all day for a living and actually edit these articles? Good grief. Anyway, it says black peep. It's missing the L. Anyway, the MAGA leaders are trying to divide black people, but it's only going to empower us and capitalize the you and the us. I don't know why. This is written by Antoine Seawright. I think this might be one of the very smart brothers. Remember that super woke whack website back in the day? They sold out to The Root, and I think The Root is part of NBC Universal. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know in the comments below. But let's get into it here. When Florida Governor Ron DeSantis stepped up to the podium at a Sunday night vigil for AJ Laguerre, Gerald Gallion, and Angela Michelle Carr, the two black men and one black woman shot and killed by a 21-year-old white supremacist, Ryan Palmetto, in Jacksonville, the crowd erupted not in tears or calls for justice, but loud and constant boos while one man yelled, "These deaths are on your hands." How was that Ron DeSantis' fault? How is it Ron DeSantis' fault that somebody went out there and committed an act of violence? What does Ron DeSantis, is Ron DeSantis a white supremacist? And if he is, to anybody that may say yes to that question, where is any evidence of that? Oh, because he wanted to eliminate black history? Is that what happened? Is that what happened? I thought that black history is mandatory in Florida, and DeSantis has not changed that mandatory status. He's just trying to eliminate the LGBTQ element of P from black history, which is logical. Why am I learning about RuPaul's Drag Race when I'm learning about Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King? What does one gotta do with the other? Nothing, but let's keep on going here. Now, I don't pretend that Florida is some microcosm of the United States, but let's be honest, DeSantis isn't just Florida's governor. He's a GOP candidate for president, currently polling second in the race, and this was his home turf, so Sunday wasn't just a warning for the DeSantis campaign, it was a warning for the GOP, and they were watching. But what, you've not been able to, like, you're just saying, you're trying to blame DeSantis for the shooting, but how? You've not provided any evidence. You just made a statement and you're kind of like getting ready to move on. This is very, very irresponsible. Let's continue. See, from the black voter surges of 2006, 2008, 2012, and 2019 into 2020 returns, where black voters made the difference in key states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. The political math is undeniable. When black voters turn out, Democrats win. Of course, we don't have to look any further than 2016 when Donald Trump pulled the age-old divide and conquer tactic by targeting 3.5 million black voters in key swing states and managed not only to drive down black turnout, but convinced 14% of black men to actually vote for him. So he won. So is it divide and conquer, or is it called campaigning? Is it called campaigning? It's like, all right, I'm going to run a campaign and I'm going to talk to everybody. Black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. It don't matter who you are, where you are. I'm going to talk to you. And if you are buying into my message, if you want to vote for me, then vote for me. That's called politics. Why must it be a negative connotation? Anyway, it's like the old expression says, you might not win with us, but you'll certainly lose without us. Okie dokie. So what does it have to do with the Sunday night vigil in Jacksonville, Florida? It's simple. It reminds us that the dissatisfaction and distrust black voters, particularly black men, feel toward the GOP is real, deep, and organic. It is the Achilles heel for MAGA Republicans, particularly on a national level. It's not just Florida and Ron DeSantis. Across the board, the GOP not only repeatedly failed to take the issues impacting black folks in America seriously, they've pinned a target on our backs. What issues are we facing as black men specifically? What issues are we facing that the GOP does not address what the Democratic Party does? I mean, I can think of some issues right now. A lot of the violence in the community. The Democratic Party wants to say defund the police and ban guns, which ain't going to make it worse. If the criminals have guns, that's going to paint a target on regular civilians' backs. And if the police are defunded, that's going to give the criminals more room to destroy, as Stephanie Rawlings Blake out there in D.C., Maryland, is what she said. Remember that? So I'm not really sure. Like, this article, I may not get through the entire thing. This article just lobs accusations and it just says things without providing any evidence to back it up. Anyway, we continue. We can look at Donald Trump comparing his indictment for trying to overturn the 2020 election with 9 black teenagers wrongfully accused and convicted for assaulting 2 white women in 1931. It's so vague. We can take a look at Vivek Ramaswamy comparing Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley to a modern Grand Wizard of the Klan. We can look at racist gerrymandering of congressional maps, the GOP's rabid opposition to voting rights, the MAGA war on critical race theory and history itself, and more. Okay, can we just go through all of this? Now, the 9 black teenagers, I don't even know what that's talking about, really. Maybe you guys know. You can let me know in the comments. Vivek talking about Ayanna Pressley, modern Grand Wizard. I think it was about her racism, and that's a fair comparison in my humble opinion. Gerrymandering, last I checked, gerrymandering was not a right-wing issue. It is an issue that exists all over the country, left and right. It's not just a right-wing thing, so that they're trying to make it be that way, but it's not that way. Anyway, rabid opposition to voting rights. What are we talking about? Voting rights. Actually, we want to make sure that everyone has the right to vote and that their right is protected under law. If I can just go to any voting place and say, my name is Ayanna Pressley, for example, and vote as Ayanna Pressley, and then when she goes to vote, they say, oh, no, you already voted. You can't vote anymore. See, that right there is taking away her right to vote. But when you say, let's have voter ID, let's have laws on the books that are going to protect the vote, they say that's removing the right to vote. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, and then they say it's a war on critical race theory. Well, critical race theory ain't nothing but racism being taught in K through 12 or in college. So why would anybody be for racism being taught? You're arguing against so-called racist gerrymandering, but at the same time arguing for racist critical race theory. It makes no sense. This is just a bunch of hoo-ha thrown in there, a bunch of nonsense thrown in there. They throwing whatever they can at the wall to see what sticks. Anyway, let's continue with the article. But it also reminds us that the GOP knows how to neutralize that threat. The fact that DeSantis dared to enter that podium without reading the room tells us that the GOP is bold and willing to pull for black votes, even when the odds are low. They've done it before and they'll do it again. But why would DeSantis not go to the podium? Should DeSantis refuse to take the podium because what? Like, has he done anything? Is he a racist person? Does he hate black people? Why would he not go to the podium? You have a tragedy that happens in your state. As a governor, you're supposed to go to the podium and offer kind words, condolences, if there's any kind of reward for any information, whatever it is, that's your job as a governor. Why would you not go to the front? If he does not go to the podium, then that is confirmation to these types of racist people that wrote this article, is confirmation to them that he is, in fact, a racist. Why would you admit that when you're not? It makes no sense. Let's keep on going. So black men must be particularly organized, mobilized, and united on election day, and Democrats can't afford to take us for granted. But the stakes are high for all black people, and the issues that impact us the most are on the ballot box. Well, the Democrats take us for granted. The Democrats do absolutely zero for the black vote. Absolutely zero. They do nothing. Look, Charlemagne asked Joe Biden during the 2020 campaign, what are your plans for the black community? What was his response? Hey, man, if you're trying to figure out if you want to vote for me or for Trump, then you're not even black. I'm not trying to give you no rundown of what I'm going to do for you. Look, man, you black, vote for me. That's it. Shut your mouth and go vote. That's what they did. I see nothing in here about that. And you know what? When I point out stuff like that to people like this, what they say? Oh, it's two wings of the same bird. It's two wings of the same bird, yet y'all vote for one wing 90% of the time, and you write hit pieces like this talking about how afraid you are that black men will go to the other side of the so-called same wing of the bird. It makes no sense. Let's just stop lying. Let's stop lying and get down to the truth. Okay, I'm going to kind of skim through a lot of this because this article is pretty long. Targeting black male voters. Let's look at this right quick. Then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. So it reads, whether you're talking about 2016's Russian fake news campaign, are we still talking about Russia in 2023? You're talking about like 8 years later, a thing that was disproven. He got impeached over it and beat the impeachment. We now know that it's all fake, it's all nonsense. Are we still talking about this debunked nonsense? Anyway, so they're talking about 2016 quote unquote Russian fake news campaign, disinformation flooding the 2022 Georgia runoff. What disinformation? Or the relentless misinformation efforts targeting black and brown voters in 2020. What are we talking about? Can we look at what they're saying here? Okay. Election disinformation campaigns targeted voters of color in 2020. Okay, what are we talking about exactly? All right, so leading up to 2020, Facebook ads targeting Latino and Asian American voters described Joe Biden as a communist. A local station claimed the Black Lives Matter co-founder practiced witchcraft. Doctor images showed dogs peeing on Donald Trump campaign posters. Okay, like that's the misinformation campaign. Facebook ads, memes. Is that what we're going to talk about? What are we going to bring up next? Bumper stickers talking about your president is a commie, a vote red or you're dead, blue no matter who. Is that what we're going to talk about for real? And you're talking about Latino and Asian American. What's that got to do with black folks? Anyway, I digress. See, they're talking about voters of color. And this is supposed to be about a black centric. So what are we doing exactly? It's really weird. Anyway, so they say it's clear that voters of color, particularly black men, are the number one target for misinformation, disinformation, and voter suppression. And the experts tell us that it's only going to get worse in 2024. Okay, so through all of that, we still vote 90% for the Democratic Party. So is it working? Is it working? I don't really know. Anyway. Let's go back to Florida, where Governor DeSantis took a bow after having 19 Floridians, the vast majority of them black, who had the audacity to think that 2018 law that restored voting rights, any Floridian with a felony conviction and served the time applied to them. Okay, I mean, this is just really a DeSantis hit piece because he's the front runner, aside from Trump, and they feel like the indictments are enough to get Trump out of the way, although they're not. I will link to this in the box. Really useless article, useless people. But as I close, I want to say this. Are they that afraid of black men doing something different that they got to put out nonsense like this? And the thing about it is, it's not going to work. I feel like that was just a hit piece on guys like me. It was a way for that particular person who wrote that article to vent. It's not going to work. You think that I'm going to read that article and be like, you know what? I've been thinking the wrong way. I should go out there and vote for a Joe Biden, a guy who got on TV and insulted black folks directly to our faces. Look, if you're trying to figure out if you want to vote for me or for Trump, then you ain't black. A guy who says that, you want me to vote for him? Why? What am I going to get? What's the benefit for me? So that article did nothing for me. Joe Biden and the Democrats do nothing for me. So I'm not convinced, I'm not moved. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Are you a black male, any other male, female, whatever? Are you moved by the article? Are you going to go out there and vote for a Joe Biden or against Donald Trump and DeSantis because of what was said there? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. That was a pretty low effort way to try and convince guys like me to get on their side. They said nothing. You talking about Russia? Really? Is that what we're going to do? Can you give me some tangible things from the left that would make sense for me to vote for them, to switch my vote from right to left? Anything? Or are you just going to insult me? Like I said, this article came off more like a venting session rather than a serious piece of journalism. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.